We feel though that we weren't necessarily at our best, especially looking at the T20 series, which was a disappointing one to lose. We played some really good cricket there, and the irony, I suppose, is we won the East London game, which we probably shouldn't have won. But we played pretty well in the other two, in Durban, with Quinny batting really well, and then us actually chasing really well, needing 3 of 2 balls in Durban to clinch the series, and and we just couldn't get it over the line. And then the Centurion one again, where we batted really well. I think we got 220 odd, and unfortunately we couldn't defend that, which is a score you back your bowling line up to defend. So aspects there that we can improve on. I don't think either team is much of a different team. So it's going to be a case of the team who sort of gets going first. After a long break for us, they've obviously been playing. Luckily for us, some of the IPL guys have been playing. So, like I said, we have pretty obvious areas where we need to improve, and that's what we'll look to do.
Thanks, Rassie. Nathan?
Rassie, the squad obviously assembled last week. Since you guys arrived together, has there been any form of communication from the convener of selectors or management regarding the next 12 months fixture schedule? If so, can you share a bit about what was said? Thank you.
Yeah, we upon arrival, Victor did address us, obviously as the new convener of selectors. Graham Smith did address us, and in terms of actual schedule going forward, we don't know too much as of yet, but we know it's going to be really busy. So they basically just told us, look, there's going to be a lot of cricket if everything goes well in the next 12 months. It's a good thing that we've had a few months off, because we're going to be quite busy and on the road quite a bit in the next 12 months. And obviously with the bubble situation, it'll make it a little bit tougher. But we're gearing up to hopefully to play a lot of cricket.
Thank you. Aditya?
Hi, Rassie. This is Aditya from Cricket Fanatics magazine. I wanted to ask, what is Mark Boucher's messaging about the brand of cricket you're expected to play in white ball cricket?
Yeah, I think the overall message has been aggressive but smart. It's something that it's a philosophy that we want to take forward. We've been decent in it in his terms so far. Like I mentioned, the England series where we didn't really click, but then a few things came together nicely against Australia, obviously. Still in the T20 format against Australia, we weren't at our best, losing that series 2-1. So we've got work to do in the T20 format, but as an overall message, we're really clear of how we want to go about it, what our strengths are, and what areas we have to improve on. So Mark Boucher, he's been brilliant in terms of clarifying that for us as a team, and from a personal point, role definition from players. So I'm quite excited for where we are as a team.
Thanks, Rassie. Craig, Rory, Fidos, and
Hi, Rassie and Superkazi. How are you? Just more on a personal note, you came so close last summer with in tests to get into 3 figures and in the ODI as well. Is that a personal goal you've set yourself? I know it sounds obvious, but are you more interested in the team, or have you sort of decided that those 3 figures have got to come this summer?
Yeah, it's definitely a goal. I mean, it sounds obvious, but to go out there and perform and make 100 every time you go out to bat, that's a goal that sort of goes without saying. In saying that, that innings at the Wanderers, I don't think it would have made much of a difference there. So it was a disappointing series for us as well, that albeit Test cricket. But yeah, I think I've got 3 90s and an 80 for the Proteas so far. So it is something that I want to tick off, and hopefully when I get the chance to come close again, I can take it over the line.
Thanks.
Hi, Rassie. How you doing? Just wondered, do you guys feel slightly worse off than England in terms of, you know, they have now played a full summer of cricket. They've sort of had their combinations together. They've played as an 11 a lot. They've even had these 2 practice matches, which for various reasons you guys haven't been able to do. Do you know, when it's quite tight between 2 sides, is the better prepared team an advantage?
It can be, but not necessarily. Yes, they've come off a full summer of cricket. They've played a bit more than us. Like I mentioned earlier, luckily we have a few guys that has played IPL, so they do have time in the middle in terms of T20 format. But you know, sports in general, you know, you get thrown curveballs basically every day. So you got to deal with that mentally. I think our preparation has been on point considering everything that's happened. The management and coaching staff has been brilliant to give us everything that we need to an extent that they can. So that's not something we'll look into. You know, it's a good thing that we're starting with T20 format, which is a format you can express yourself and almost catch up to an extent, and 1 or 2 guys in your team can really swing the result. So yeah, it might be a positive for them having that. We're not looking too far into that, and we know that whatever preparation we do have will be sufficient.
Thanks, Rassie. For Dussen and then Telford.
Hi, Rassie. I just want to apologize because I seem to always be the person asking this question, but we've had a discussion with Boucher and with KG yesterday about the team's decision not to take a knee. You were one of the few white players one of the first white players who came out and supported the Black Lives Matter movement. Can you explain to us how this decision was taken? Is it a majority decision? Why has it been made? And what are you saying to South Africans in deciding this?
But if I can step in here, please, just quickly. The decision was made by the entire team. It was discussed in a team meeting, and I feel as though we have had this discussion now for 2 press conferences, and I would like us to draw a line under it, because we can't keep answering the same questions over and over again. If you would like to have an offline engagement on it, I'm more than happy to, but I would like us to actually start speaking about the England tour now. We'll move on to Telford. Thank you.
Sorry, no. I also wanted to ask a relevant question, so we can carry on with the irrelevant ones.
All right. Would anybody else like to ask Rassie any questions? Junior Steinbank?
Hey, Rassie, I'm not too sure if this falls within the lines because it's not strictly about the England series. I just wanted to speak about the start of 4-day cricket. Obviously, you were involved first couple of rounds. There's some new kids within the setup in your side. Can you speak a little bit about the young men that are coming up at the Wanderers, what you've seen of them so far, maybe some of the young men who you got a bit of a taste of playing against the Cobras, etc. as well?
Yeah, I think it's been great to get out again and play cricket again. We haven't been on the right side of the results, unfortunately, at the line, so we're a bit under pressure. But we have a very strong squad. You know, we've got guys like Josh Richards, Ryan Rickleton, Delano Potgieter, those types of guys. Kagiso Rapulana, who's had a taste before, but will get a good run now. Who's made hundreds for the Lions. And then we've got some fresh faces. A guy like Tladi Bukako making his debut now. Wesley Marshall. So in terms of depth at the Lions, we're quite blessed to have a lot of good performers. And then I'm not even mentioning a guy like Vian Mulder, who's almost a new face again after struggling with injury over the last season or two. So I'm sure he'll be raring to go and show why he was backed at an early stage to play Test cricket and so forth. In terms of other sides, yeah, I think there's a few good youngsters going at the moment. Michael Pretorius has done really well for the Knights. Some of the batters, Reinhard van Tonder has done well. Yeah, and at the Cobras, I mean, I can only speak about the Cobras and the Dolphins because that's who we played. A guy that, like Nandre Berger, who I think is a good prospect, which we were sad to lose at the Lions. Yeah, and yeah, I reckon, yeah, that's about it. I think a guy like Marcus Ackerman has some really good potential. He's captain of the Dolphins now, so he'll be one to look out for. But yeah, I think it's just exciting. I mean, there's a lot of really good youngsters that shows potential, and it's, yeah, I think there's opportunity for them to stake a claim if they can put some consistent performances together. You know, I think the Proteas setup is a tough team to break in at the moment, although there are some opportunities. But I mean, if I refer it back to a few years ago when we started playing, you know, you sort of had to put 3-4 seasons together to get a look into a SAA side. So, you know, I think that the challenge for the young guys is to not to look too far ahead and make sure you sort of can put some sort of consistency in terms of seasons together.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rassie. Ken, Tinus, and then
thanks, Ikazi. Rassie, you mentioned the squad being very clear on what areas you need to improve on, especially in T20 cricket, where I guess it's maybe a bit of a mystery that there was such a good ODI performance against Australia, but the T20s, the Proteas haven't really fired lately. What are some of these key areas that you guys are looking to improve on, specifically in T20?
Yeah, I think maybe I'll if you yeah, let me start with the bowling. I think starting well with the ball, which is something we haven't really done. You know, I mean, it's probably, if you look at it, the last series, our opening batters also put their bowlers under a lot of pressure. But being really disciplined in terms of starting with the ball against guys like Jason Roy, you can take the game away. And then I think our death bowling. I think the guys have worked really hard on that, and we've seen guys like Norkia and Rabada at the IPL how successful they've been. So that's an area I think we've improved on already. So I mean, those are the two obvious points. And then, yeah, I think in the last series we had really good starts, and then with the bat, and then we just maybe fell away during the middle. And then we had really good finishes again. So that batting in the middle period, sort of over 7 to 15, is something that, you know, I think there's a bit of improvement we can do there. And yeah, knowing the conditions in Cape Town and Boland, which is going to be two different approaches, I think that's going to be an area where we're going to look to really have a good improvement.
Tinus, and then
Hi, Rassie. Sorry if this has already been asked. I joined a bit late, but I was wondering, you've batted through your career in a lot of different positions, also in the different formats. Where do you see yourself in this Protea team, in the T20 team, ideally wanting to bat, and why?
I think if I think about it, I'm probably at my best at number 3. Although you have to be realistic, a guy like Faf will bat at 3, and he's world class there. So 4, 3 and 4 is not too much different. So, you know, considering that, I would say 4 is probably the position I'll be looking at. It sort of comes with the responsibility of maybe having to go in the power play. Sometimes maybe, you know, coming in the middle, and sometimes when it goes really well, being able to come in at the back end, which I feel I have all those aspects in my game. So, yeah, like I've said a few times before, I mean, in the last series I opened once or twice, and being an opener traditionally, I suppose, coming from opening the batting in T20 cricket especially, you know, I sort of feel I have that part to my game as well. So I've been working really hard to sort of make my weaknesses a lot better. Mark Boucher has been brilliant with that in terms of the winter, and really communicating areas where he wants me to improve and where he thinks I can improve. And I've taken that on board and worked really hard on that with my batting coach at the Lions, Justin Salmons. And I'm at the place now where I feel I've addressed a lot of those areas. So I'm really feeling good in terms of overall technique, game plan wise. I think a lot of hard work has gone into it, and I feel I'm in a good place.